We've hidden, pretended, and parried long enough. All battle fleets, commence offensive operations.
Alright, g'day everyone. Welcome to Terra Invicta, and this episode, I can guarantee you at least one serious showdown, probably several. The aliens are sending a serious force towards Mercury. It's only 10 ships, but this is one of the more powerful formations we've seen so far because the quality of the offering is a bit higher. There are two different classes of Titan, and suffice to say, there's a bit more point defense here than normal. Lots of particle weapons, enhanced mags. The other one has I think the other one has 4-point defense installations, 37 forward exotic armor, Twin Titans not playing, plus battlecruiser, monitor, corvette, lots of corvettes, and only a few of them, the old Duskwinds, we don't worry about. Battlefield Mercury was ready for something like this, but this is another short notice attack. I'm sort of overbuilding Mercury relative to what I expect. Mars is the biggest, with I think 27 ships in active service, as it's had to counter attack after attack, but a lot of those are escorts. Mercury's a bit heavier on the tonnage because it has to deal with these constant small notice attacks from the asteroid bases. This one's 63 Orsonia. The Folly of Pavonis is slinging ships at us, and I'm not a fan. The redeeming quality here for us is actually two. The first is Victor 251 is not going with this fleet over here, the Twin Titan threat. If they'd sent those as well, we'd be in more trouble. The other redeeming feature is that, while I didn't intend it, the offensive fleet that we're preparing, two of those ships, the first two siege coil dreadnoughts, are actually going to be ready before these guys arrive. So they're going to bring 2 Titans, but at least we're going to have 2 dreadnoughts to augment our missile fleet. The one plus side of this, at least, is that when we go after this asteroid base, there'll be less of a fleet defending it. Those battle stations are annoying enough as it is. The other thing to flag before we roll the clock is our first Spartans are ready for deployment. This is a Block 2 Chesty Puller class frigate, or corvette rather. 3 units of Humanity First Spartans, meaning this thing's got a troop strength of 30. Not bad. What we're going to do is fan these out. You know the drill. MEU 3, 4, 5 are going to go after any servant or protectorate facility that we're not already targeting. 135 Hertha is being targeted. That's a heavy metal installation. But 325 Heidelberger, let's go after that. Let's go after some of these other asteroids, like 216 Cleopatra. Let's show off what these fusion engines can do. If we were willing to burn everything, we could get to 216 Cleopatra in 3.45 weeks, but we do it by consuming a ridiculous amount of propellant. What have we got? 126 water, 40 metals. Actually not that ridiculous when you consider the cost of taking a base. Let's leave some Delta V in reserve, because I'm guessing, or we can spend 100 and get there in 5.5. Transfer. MEU 4. What else have we got that the servants have that I don't like? Targeting that. Let's target 45. Anything that they have that we don't want can go to someone else that we do like. Transfer time. 138 DV gets us there in 3.45 weeks. Transfer. And then what about a site? We know the Resistance and Exodus are suffering from water and other shortages. All these Titan bases, they would be good to have, but I'm not seeing any easy targets. 59 Ellipsis, are we already targeting this one? Yes, we are. That arrives in 23.3 hours. Well, there you go. That's going to be a Resistance base before long. But 375 Ursula, that's when MEU 5 is going. This one's way out there. Okay. Yeah, let's burn the DV. Let's get there in 10 weeks, and we'll have, let's make it 13. We'll have 130 in reserve to get somewhere else, or build a platform and refuel. Burn. Great. So we now have 5 Marine Expeditionary Raider units that are just going around the asteroid belt, taking servant and protectorate property to be reallocated to our pro-human friends. Perfect. Meanwhile, I think our Raider group should be arriving at that alien station in, there you go, 5.4 hours. Now, this shouldn't be a problematic auto-resolve, but if it is, I can do it manually and do a standoff. Yeah, no. See, it's It's perfectly happy. It understands that we're just slinging torps at it from maximum range, so we'll accept that. We have docked with the station. We could now destroy it. I'm not going to destroy the station because I'd like my Marines to loot it, but we've destroyed all these battle stations. We haven't destroyed the shipyards because they're civilian modules. We'll go reload and rearm, and then we'll camp the station while we wait for the Marines to arrive. We could, as you see, destroy the hab. It would take 10 hours. A bit of a waste of resources, so I'm going to take a risk. We'll fly back out to Hyperion Hold. It's only 9 DV to do it in 3.83 days. Refuel, rearm, come back, and establish our armed cordon. Titan is officially now under human blockade. Marines of MEU-1. Target is the Servant Base, Redeemer Base. Drop, drop, drop. And to be interrupted by the allocation. In a moment, though, the Marines will kick in the door. This facility will get a bit of an upgrade treatment. I'm not sure if we'll take it to Tier 3 and do the upgrades first. We might. We have the mission control available. So I might take it to T3, queue up all the upgrades, pay for them myself, then hand it over to the resistance and go, hey guys, this is a functional base that is, I'll make it positive on money, I'll make it positive on resources, I'll give it a farm, I'll give it science, I'll make it probably, I might put Op Center on there too, so it's MC neutral. Hand it over and go, hey guys, enjoy, don't ask where we got it. Okay, Raider Group 1 is back. Marines have stormed that other location. We're repairing it now. What the Raiders will do, I cancelled the repair order because that would take forever. All we're doing is resupplying. Join Battlefield Mercury. Be ready for those guys to arrive. And then as soon as you're reloaded on missiles and fuel... Oh, we lost the Hydra. Okay, it's going to be around here. It will have just... What will have happened is it might have just gone to ground. I suspect that's what's happened. We need to start investigating these alien activities just to clear them off the board. I don't like seeing them. And then as soon as that Hydra pops up again, it shouldn't take long. Erica needs to stop stabilizing for a while and come over to say hi. Dust off the old anti-Hydra techniques. And this is the beauty of taking a base that already has a shipyard installed. Marine Expeditionary Unit 1 just gets to land at the base that we took from the servants. Clear out the servants. Land at the shipyard, which was still thankfully powered. Reload, rearm, refuel. We can launch again. And now MEU-1. Look, it's not the most modern vessel. It doesn't have anywhere near the KPS of our older, or our newer Corvettes rather, but it is still available for operations. That said, we are running out of things on the list. 475 Oklo. That's not a very good asteroid. But with 10 KPS to spare, you can do it in 20 weeks. This might be the last one for MEU-1. Oh no, it has an elite Marine officer. You have an elite Marine officer. So instead, new plan. Burn hard for Fiona Anchorage, and then what happens is when you get there, we'll take the level 3 Marine officer off and put it on a new build ship with Spartans and a better engine. Because at the moment, that elite Marine officer is worth 5 assault value by themselves. So we may as well collect as many of those as possible for our Marine vessels. MEU-1, it's done well. Bring it home. Okay, we're back with more missiles. We've re-established the cordon. Concord Fortress is destroyed, but apparently they've launched a frigate in the time that it took for us to go and reload. So we'll quickly destroy this guy while using as few missiles as possible, and then establish our permanent blockade of Titan until the mighty, mighty Crayon arrives in 75 days. Just for fun and to avoid unnecessary missile expenditure, I will do this manually. We want selected ships, just Control-Shift. 4 escorts will fire, 3 missiles per ship, which is hilarious overkill. But the key is we don't want any of our nuke boats to fire because I want salvage, and we don't want the rest of the formation to waste stuff because... Okay, weapons safe. You poor sod. And by which I mean you're an invading alien Xeno, so here, have some torpedoes. Perfect. I love how you can even see the ships that are being built in the background while the battle is playing out. That's that proves that the map is the map. I like that. All right, we shouldn't get any salvage from that. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit. 0.15 exotics, that's what I expected. No promotions, that's not exactly a glorious battle, but, you know, the Xenos were destroyed. Raider Group 1, we should get control of again. They should be docked at the station now. They are. Great. So what we'll now do is I have this platform. Let's bring the platform over to low Titan orbit. And we'll establish a base around Titan, get it working on a construction module. So we also have a backup to our Hyperion platform, just in case we get caught off guard by something. But I think the camp is now in place. The Marines are all going where they need to do. Life is good. Another one straight into the net. The Vicious Blazer, straight out of the shipyard and into the cordon. I'll sink this guy too. And what I can do to maintain the cordon is as ships fire off their torpedoes or are damaged, they can be sent back to the platform, rearm and reload, and then hopefully once the platform is established around Titan itself, they'll have access to local resupply, and we can keep the blockade nice and tight. Love my little wall of escorts. 0.38, and that time we did get a promotion, a first officer. The good thing about harvesting all these officers early is even though they're not particularly useful on the escorts, with enough influence, you can later on shift all of these experienced officers you've trained up on your early game ships, transfer them over to your capitals, and they can really deliver value straight out the gate. So I like it. It's like you're getting heroes and experienced officers from the early stages of your campaign, and you're giving them control over these fancy assets you're producing. Great. Let's bring the platform over. 1.1 days. Establish that. I'll split the damaged ships off. And the crossbow is Winchester. The Sarissa is Winchester. Okay, that leaves 59 ships enforcing the cordon. You fly back to Hyperion Hold, 3 days. And then you get your repairs and reloads done and then rejoin the cordon. And so the rotation continues. Initial structure for Fleet Base Malleus around Titan. Fusion pile, powering a construction module, a space dock, and a supply depot. As soon as the platform core finishes, we'll upgrade it all the way to a colony core, and that'll mean serious business. This is now the forward edge of our Titan blockade, keeping the door open for the Marines, who are now 72 days away.
Here, we need men who don't let wounds slow them down. We need men who don't need sleep. Most of all, we need men who don't ask questions. Colonel Hans Castillo, email to the Pentagon.
Yeah, so there's Hans basically founding the Adeptus Astartes, and never let the glorious campaign around Titan distract from what really matters. Dropping Marines on servant and protectorate bases. There's always a technology popping up to distract from Marines doing their job. Anyway, we'll grab this, upgrade it. By now, you know the deal. Oh, Greater India. We might do that. We might do Advanced Plasma. Let's do Advanced Plasma for our stations, and then maybe Greater India. Haven't expanded India yet. Have been focusing on South America and whatnot. But eventually, Pan-Asia or Greater India might be worth doing. No Titan orbit for you. I really hope some of these alien ships are automated, because otherwise, wouldn't you just want to stay in the shipyard? Just wait for them to complete? Because these guys are basically sailing out straight into the cordon and copying Athena to the face every time. Apparently we're promoting the fire control officer who slotted it. Okay. I love this. Every couple of days, they just feed something to the cordon. And I think it's just because the aliens had ships in construction, and I don't think they know how to cancel them. If we look what the aliens are sending to Saturn, it's 153 days. Oh, they're rallying with Victor 482, which doesn't arrive for 250. And it's interesting, they've got colony ships. They intend to resettle. So we've got forces arriving. So the nearest force that is actually arriving, there'll be a big, big, big cluster. We need to be prepared for 26, 27 ships in 250 days. And we need to be prepared for 17 ships in 213 days. I think that's going to work. Because if I look at... Where's my force defending Hyperion Hold? Let's just auto-resolve that. Oh, did you just... I'll do this manually, and then we'll check how long until my shipyards finish around my Hyperion base. Someone needs to tell my crew that, yes, I understand it is very exciting to spend weeks and months traveling from Earth and then get to fire your torpedoes at the aliens. But, guys, the entire formation can't shoot off all its Athenas every time a single escort is launched. Now, our PD should be able to handle those. There's its PD. Okay, it's destroyed. All of its torpedoes seem to be dealt with. Mission accomplished. And see, I had to fire off a third of the magazine of 3 ships, not the entire magazine of bloody 80 ships. Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying, if we look at our base around Hyperion, the main criteria here is that I be able to get the Marines in, destroy the bases, and put land facilities in place before I have to bail, if I have to bail. Yeah, great. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll have 8 shipyards. We should already have 1 shipyard around Hyperion Hold. What is the construction time on some of these small little vessels? Yeah, 68 days to produce a little escort. We could probably even get a monitor, 137 days. Like a monitor would be ready before they arrive, well before they arrive. So we can get 2 escorts or a monitor. We probably want a monitor. And then we'll check the build times. We'll probably get escorts out of the other ones just to bulk out the force some more. I reckon this is probably doable as long as we multiply the number of ships we have fast enough. I don't think I'm intimidated, especially if I can get reinforcements. And if I can fight behind a station with defense emplacements, all the better. So what sort of monitor do we want? I think the Bastion, the LR Bastions are pretty good. I might upgrade a monitor design and slap one in. There we go. We have our first Saturn-built ship on the way. Destination, 236 Cleopatra, Neuschwanstein base, Marines, you know what to do. In fact, Spartans at this point, is it? This is our first Spartan deployment. Spartans. Power armor genetically modified Humanity First commandos against outpost crew. 27 of them. Fair fight, absolutely. Yep, that's what I expected. Let's get a shipyard up here. That'll be done in December. Let's get the colony core in. Okay, I think it's time for a fight. Oh, they're bombarding. What are they bombarding? They're bombarding it. See, this is a big advantage I have. What the aliens are doing, I'm pretty sure, this may not be the case, but this is what I think I'm observing. The aliens are angry with the Initiative, Exodus, the Resistance, and me all at the same time. They send forces out to bomb the Initiative or someone, thinking, hey, these humans are obviously divided into different factions. We are strong enough with this fleet to beat up the Initiative. Not thinking that Humanity First, who are, you know, not the same as these other humans, will come over and engage. But at this point, I'm super happy to do so. TTX2, the threat. We will rendezvous with you in about 4 hours. Hopefully, you accept the fight, because I want to see what these new dreadnoughts can do. Let's engage. We have the numbers. They're willing to fight. This doesn't look good on paper, but I'm willing to bet that once we get into the battle, it will absolutely work. Wall formation, let's keep the rhinos near the center of the formation. Same with the Homeland class battleship. Form like a kind of central battery, if you will. Bastions, that's a point defense class. Bastion, bastion, bastion. Great. Okay. I like this rough setup. Maximize initial velocity. Now, we will allocate missiles and tubes, but first, let's do the obvious. Both dreadnoughts are going to focus on one Titan at a time. The 2 Homeland-class battleships are going to try and overwhelm the other Titan. Then I think we kill the little guys with little guys, regular formula. Great, and then we can allocate monitors to kill the monitor. Lots of lasers, but no dedicated point defense. Golden Star, you have a point defense laser turret. We'll allocate 9 tubes to you. That leaves all of these monitors to go onto the Eternal Harmony, which has a shit ton of point defense, along with the Homeland battleships. In fact, let's call this Action Group 2. Let's call this Action Group 1. I think we're pretty much ready to party. So what I'll do is I'll turn the maneuver nodes off. We won't burn. I forgot to rename the ships, that's okay. And then what we should see is the missiles start to fly, and then the coils start to get in on the action. What we could potentially have done, oh, there we are, coils going first, siege coils away. There go the torpedoes. There are the smaller coils. As you can see, things are chasing the flankers. Interesting, the small coil guns are being allocated against the flankers, whereas the torpedoes and siege coils are being allocated against the big stuff. What a ship. Elusive Star and Eternal Dream. Well, my eternal dream is to see you absolutely blapped. Here come the torpedoes. Slow this right down. That's the big torpedo mass for the main fleet. Those are the torpedoes that are going after the flankers. And we should see a lot of point defense activity allocated against the big siege coil rounds, which you can see are coming in. And here are all the regular coils. We're basically following chunks of metal in. As you can see, the first chunks of metal didn't make it, but the second chunks are already here, and the torpedoes are behind them. So what we're going to be hoping is that having all this laser fire directed towards the coils is going to make it possible for this giant mass of missiles to make it through, and also hopefully make life interesting for these siege coil rounds. I can already see coil rounds are almost making it into the enemy formation. Like, those are some very, very close shots. Yeah, I think the Cascading Justice is going to get hit by coils. Beautiful. Yeah, switch to the Elusive Star. Flankers are about to go down. Bang. Great. All cleaned up. Siege coil impact on the Eternal Dream. Now this giant torpedo mass will retarget, but I have a feeling the coils are going to kill him first. Nice brace of torpedoes. I was wrong, it wasn't the coils that got him, it was the missiles. That leaves just this Duskwind corvette. Everyone can priority target like that. And hopefully we have enough ordnance left to destroy this guy. If not, we'll just auto-resolve it. Because he'll circle back down towards us, but we'll be pointed at him. So yeah, I reckon, yeah, there's some torpedoes. Job done for that guy. Congratulations to the 2 dreadnoughts. You are very welcome temporary members of Battlefield Mercury, because you got to reload, rearm, and head somewhere else. And with the benefit of the full, some salvage bays at least, because I don't think, yes we do. So we would have had 4 salvage bays in that fight, 5.5 exotics, a bunch of promotions, 10 alien ships destroyed, total alien fleet strength back down to 215, thank you very much. There we go, high G recombinance. So this is basically medical treatments to allow our guys to accept more G for longer. Our maximum combat acceleration increases by 0.5 if we research this. We haven't done it yet, but we will. And maximum cruise acceleration increases by 1G if the ship's propulsion system allows it, which means if we have some truly ludicrous thrust at any point, which we might, our crews can handle prolonged plus 1G acceleration. I'm not sure what the limit is with that. We'll find out once we research it, I guess. Oh, nice. So we were chasing after a xenoform in China. He's just, I think what just happened, yeah, that's hilarious. Okay, so we were chasing a Hydra in the Republic of China, and apparently this Project Exodus Kingpin, I presume the initiative was chasing them as well. Presumably this Kingpin came along, courtesy of intelligence sharing, and yeah, grabbed him and carted him back off to Exodus HQ so they can have a chat with him too. So the Resistance is in research wormholes stage of their objectives. Exodus is now pushed on to communicate with the captured Hydra and begin the search. The Initiative is also looking for a captive, and the Academy has neither salvaged alien technology, neither has the Initiative, nor have they even obtained a dead one. So the Academy, good research points, but slow. Exodus, the Resistance, courtesy of intel sharing a little support from us, doing well. Both their space economies are struggling a bit, but that's just because all the stuff I stole from the Servants and Protectorate is mostly still in an upgrade cycle. Once it finishes, we should be able to give them a bit of a boost. And we're going to be good Samaritans. This is a alien fleet Victor 491 that's bombarding Resistance bases around Luna. Let's just see what the auto-resolve gives us. Yeah, it's happy to clean those up. And there's no reason for us not to jump over with a couple of monitors, clean those up, take the exotics, save the Resistance a bit. The aliens lost 5 ships. We will probably have to... Nope, we don't even have to divide propellant. That does cost us a little bit of fuel, but... spend 5.9 kps to get home. Destroying alien ships is a good cause, so is saving our allied infrastructure. So I'm happy to send those ships over, rejoin Battlefleet Terra, go from there.
I am impressed. That does not happen often. But tell me, what new weapons does this allow for? And when will they be ready? Anything else is of little consequence. Commissioner Kiran Banerjee, memo to technical staff.
One thing I will say is that Banerjee's quotes generally give a very good picture of the way the bloke evolves from an idealistic, relatively young guy who has hope for the world to one who is cynical about humanity, to one who is so jaded, cynical, set in his ways and focused that all he cares about is tearing the rest of mankind down into this pit of despair with him and surrendering. It's just an interesting character evolution. It doesn't prevent me thinking he's a complete dickhead, because you don't want your empathy for a villain to get in the way of your ability to stop them from inflicting harm on others. But it is an interesting character evolution, and I would be very happy to discuss it with him face-to-face if he'd like to come into Humanity First headquarters, get himself a nice permanent hotel room, and have some chats with Hans. Anyway, terawatt fusion reactors. This unlocks some really, really big power plants. Now, what we're going to want to do is push towards proton-proton fusion. But to do that, we need to finish aneutronic fusion. So we kind of have a free moment. So we'll prioritize aneutronic, because that's like key to everything. I've also deprioritized most of my researchers down here. And then to speed it up even more, yes, clean energy would be great for the planet. But we might I do not want exo-atmospheric fighters. This will be the last technology I research, if at all possible. I mean, we could grab Fall of Empires just to let the energy bonus click through on aneutronic. But we're going to go into... It's going to be a problem anyway. So let's get clean energy on the go. We'll probably give it 2 pips of priority. Finish this one in March 2038. Hopefully some more research facilities will come online. I might build a couple more. I've still got a little bit of an MC buffer. And not necessarily the resources to truly explode my number of ships. As it is, I'm building, I think, a net 62 mission control worth of HAB modules and 87 mission control worth of ships. So I'm only going to go up to about 570, still not enough. So we'll have to accelerate our Earth mission control build, which I'm starting to do. I want to build about 4 or 5 a month minimum and get some more command centers up in space. The United States and North America is now maxed out its environment priority for now. So we're now going to get the last bit of inequality down, get this down to 1 for long-term stability, and also it's time to re-democratize. So welfare will come off once this drops to about 1. So that won't take long. That'll take only a couple of months. And then it'll be full send to get this democracy value back up to 10. I told you Americans it's all going to end well, and then we might work on some economy and a few other things. It's all going to end well, but you had to do your part for the war effort first. You've done it. So now we're going to fix everything up nice and proper. Fantastic. The actual MEU itself has arrived. What we might do is, just for maximum safety, dock them at Hyperion Hold, resupply them. It'll only take them 3 days. And let's check in on the good old Crayon. Crayon arriving in 28.7 days. And then this blockade can end. And let's hope that we can get all our bases in position just in case we lose everything. But I'm getting optimistic about our ability to turn this Saturn campaign, specifically the attack on Titan, into a real resource drain for the aliens, and potentially something that we can sustain, which, if we do, should open the way to military operations in the belt proper. All right, I've made some adjustments, more command centers being built. I can afford them because the influencers continue to pay for them. And we can always dial back on the research if we need to. So we've got modules worth 90 mission control now in construction, which should give us a little bit of extra buffer, even as the Republic of China and India start to get their mission control built. And the Caliphate has just finished its last point, so we can probably start dealing with its social issues as well. That'll mean a little bit of environment and a little bit of welfare expenditure. I think for everyone's sake, knowledge can hold this as long as there are at least 20 knowledge points going in. Yeah, 20 knowledge points per month is more than enough to hold cohesion steady. So welfare is a little bit of a priority. Let's get some environment spending happening to ease that out, considering all of our other powers are cleaning up their act, so to speak. Kyrgyzstan, Russia. Beautiful. Russia's... Yeah, great. We're bringing it down across the board. Love it. Yes, aliens, feed me more and more ships around Titan. Crayon is now only 3 days away. All right, this is a moment. It's January 2038. Felix has flown all the way out to Titan. So now we have the Marine flotilla next to the escort flotilla, 100 plus escort ships around Titan. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go after Concord Fortress Station first.
The enemy's gate is down.
The enemy's gate is indeed down. You don't hear those quotes often because you don't do too many assault missions, but here we go. We'll go after this station first, not because that's where the exotics are. Those are on the planet. We'll do it because I want them to stop building ships, and I want to be able to say for certain that this orbit is ours. Our construction module, let's turn these back on just for a moment. We want so many bases at this point. I like the Far Home is still out there. Hyperion Hold. Hyperion Hold's construction module will finish in about a month, which will be our first construction module in this system. And we're building another one around Titan as well. Hyperion Hold is now a Tier 3 station, although we're mostly rushing out Tier 1 space docks because those are the only ones that are going to be able to build ships in time, courtesy of construction period. So let's wait for the power to come online, and let's let Felix storm in with the Marines and see what results we get. Oh, and yes, we are, as always, taking infrastructure from the bad guys in the background. I need to, I'm being very generous with the upgrades before I hang them over, but and building new ships. Metal is starting to be a squeeze. I'm upgrading some metal construction bases that we've taken. I'm easily going to be capable of chewing through 6,000 base metals a month, so it's a big deal. This is Maria Theresa base. This is a lot of crap. And let's get the Tier 3 upgrade happening. Then we can reload the ship, send it on its way. We're really starting to clear up their space infrastructure. The servants are now basically broken as a space power. They're now negative on water and have 0 left. They are +1 on volatiles. Their net boost income is +5. They have 17 mission control used, tiny incomes. The Protectorate we're still working on, but most importantly, have succeeded in taking them negative on water and volatiles, which is reducing their boost growth, but they have a lot of buffer. The more we can drive this negative, the better. But that's what the Marines are for. They're doing their job. But let's see how the Marines go against the aliens. Come on.
Public opinion is moving in our direction.
Order is returning.
Yes, I'm trying to have Argentina not explode before I can diplomatically annex it into the South American Union. Victor 8 has arrived. Oh, that's right. They sent colony. This was very ambitious of them. This was a real shithead move. They sent some colony ships to Mercury on the assumption that they'd blown up our bases and there'd be slots free. But between us and the other human factions, we grabbed them. Let us... I'm going to attempt an intercept, but they'll probably run. Victor 8. Let's do an intercept in 13 hours. Let's see if they hang around. That's promising. Envelopment. This means, so what is happening here is our fleet is splitting into multiple groups, which means that they can burn away from most of it, but we can still engage with some of our ships, including our first Ontario-class Titan, a homeland battleship, and a number of monitors. What are we up against? Magnetics, torpedoes. Well, we have, oh, I don't care about what weapons they're shooting at me. I have an Ontario. Engage. We could auto-resolve this, but I want to do this manually. Short wall, Ontario in the middle, battleship Electo hanging out near it. And then in terms of priority targeting, the reason I don't care is because the Ontario has those 6-point defense phases with all of those advanced laser engines boosting it. You can see the size difference between one of our little point defense escorts and the Ontario-class ship, the Scourge. And we're not burning much of that very valuable fissile fuel. What the Ontario is going to be really good at doing is killing these little small escorts. We'll get the Homeland-class battleship to kill the Void Sailor. We'll do that as well. And then 1, 2, 3. Extra points on the Void Sailor. Okay, torpedoes are going out. 40 millimeters are firing the path of all their weapons. And as you can see, Scourge is already engaging, and we have damage on the Rising Storm already. Look at the reach on that phaser. Yes, we're engaging its rear armor because this was a pursuit scenario. But the firing time on those phasers is twice as much as an arc laser. It's every 10 seconds. And this is really well boosted. That is so good. Big nose phasers are very satisfying. Looks like this guy's spinning around. I think the torpedo should be able to deal with him. So instead what we're going to try and do is knock out the... not sure what the rear armor is like on the Lonely Row, but let's see if we can do damage to it. Because I don't want to have to burn after them if I can avoid it, because fuel is obviously money. Falling sky, or fading sky rather. Torpedo impacts. Good hits. And then there should be plenty of time for the torpedoes to retarget. Oh, the phasers. The phaser shots from downtown, straight through the rear armor, but the torpedoes get the kill. I think that qualifies as a successful field test. What do you reckon? There's the laser array. 9.6 meter aperture laser. This is why the technology to build big ships is eventually worth it as a huge payoff, because those big forward-facing weapons, they just do things that the weapons that you can mount on your monitors and your escorts just can't do. Man, did that Corvette have to interrupt my... I'm storming your station. Did you have to interrupt? Although I guess I kind of understand. There are literally Marines storming the station as we speak, so... this might be their only attempt at some sort of escape. And with what looks like potentially a tightening construction in the back, there's a lot of resources that are being committed here, but it's just not going to happen. You are not going to interrupt the Marines' moment of triumph. Anyway, the Navy's done their job. Let's let the Marines do theirs.
Hostile target secured.
And we captured a Griffin in the process. Interesting. Having recovered and performed an initial assessment of a living Griffin, We have no doubt this is a sapient species. Obvious intelligence glints from its otherworldly eyes. We also know what looks for all the world like fear. Despite its grotesque appearance, it seems strangely cowed, even deferential, flinching when we draw near, showing no objection to any request we might make of it, those few it understands at least. Behaviour would seem to suggest the creature is accustomed to following orders. Whatever place the griffin occupy in the alien hierarchy, it is surely not one of leadership. And we captured a war dog as well. It's been named a war dog. Pre-autopsy confirmed it is non-sapient. Brain is small, encased with a thick skull. Appendages would not be capable of operating tools or weapons. Does appear visible commonalities with what we've observed of the primary aliens, suggesting they may originate from the same world, but this particular creature bears all the hallmarks of a subservient race. It is quite clearly a natural-born killer, perhaps even an apex predator, but trained to obey and to attack. So the Hydra, these are their wolves, but they have mind control powers inherently built into their biology. So they just went to the wolves of their planet and were like, you work for me now. There we go. Concord Fortress Station destroyed by humanity first. We've destroyed the alien station. They will surely seek retribution. We have taken 26 exotics from the wreckage. And that's a really cool graphic too. Victory, we've captured the station. Roll 48 on a 100% chance of success. Battlefleet Mercury is repaired. Fantastic. Cool, and we can interrogate the Griffin for +3 on enemy assault. Enemy space asset missions. All of that is great. I think that Felix is powerful enough to do it as it stands, though. So we'll let the turn roll. I've interrogated a salamander. We will launch that to Battlefield Mercury. I'm forming up a capital fleet around Mercury, in case you hadn't noticed, which will then link up with some of these Marines and start causing havoc in the belt after Titan is cleared, which is now 50% done, courtesy of Felix and his space-born jarheads. Looks like the Titans aren't just restricted to Mercury now. We've got some making an appearance around Earth. But I think, courtesy of the arrival of the homelands, we should have the torpedoes necessary to crack these things. Turn off our navigation markers. They keep coming into Tiangong orbit, which is really unfortunate because I took the Protectorate station there. Needed to... Looks like we have some jammed, but that's okay. Fire one more torpedo. And all you guys. There. There. And you just clear, you clear your primary targets. You can just scatter torpedoes wherever you think is most appropriate, which does mean we have to spend quite a bit of fuel to get out here. And if you're wondering why is the frame rate dropping, it's because there is a lot of crap being thrown out there, most particularly a whole bunch of 40mm DACA, just an absolute cloud of 40mm DACA that is meant to be thrown into the face of these missile salvos, which will do a good job of trying to keep our fleet alive. Won't protect us against plasma. Should do a decent job against the missiles and the magnetics. Yeah, we've got some big beam weapons. Is that the Titan firing a big Prow Mount energy weapon? Probably. So we'll look at it from their perspective. Yeah, it's a big prow-mounted weapon. Alien spinal particle cannon. Oh, that's mean. So that's going to be frying electronics, disabling components, and also killing crew. Really nasty weapons, particle beams. We'll play around with them more next campaign. Okay, lots of point defense, but also lots of Athenas. I think the flankers are in serious trouble. So let's see if this section can handle the main cloud. I'd like to introduce some magnetics, but I don't have engines that make my capitals efficient. I don't want to have too many Poseidon torch vessels in function at any given time. Misty Veil. Okay, that looks like all the flankers are being scratched. The torpedo cloud is definitely getting closer. So, yeah. And And then once some hits start getting scored, point defense comes offline. Scratch a Titan. Which means I think all you guys are going to go as well. If missiles and torpedoes aren't working, get better or more missiles or torpedoes. As you'll see, rails and lasers, absolutely workable, and in some ways much better than missiles, but because they're so binary, as long as you can have enough of them, the combination of 40mm DACA plus missiles can take you a long way. I also really appreciate these battleships. They may not be super efficient, the Homeland class, but having 5 missile bays and the rail cannon and a whole bunch of magazines, really efficient. Give me the butcher's bill. We're fine. 2.7 exotics. Rookie numbers compared to what we're managing around Jupiter. But most importantly, station preserved for the cost of propellant, not warships or crew. Bingo. That's another 24 exotics. So I reckon that campaign out to the Saturn system was absolutely worth it because that was 50 plus exotics. More than we've gotten from everything else the whole game. We're also putting together additional ships using the shipyards that have currently come online. There'll be 7 additional, I think 8 additional warships. Yeah, so we'll have 8 additional warships, might be 10 actually. Will be ready in time for the first alien vessels to arrive. So we should have a 6-1, 7-1 advantage in numbers in terms of combat vessels. But I don't think the Marines are going to stay around. I think what we're going to do is we're going to grab the Marine Expeditionary Unit from Titan. What is our travel time to Mercury? Because we can meet somewhere else, but we can also fly to Mercury. We could burn hard for Mercury, link up with the next wave of capital ships that's being constructed. I'll get a timing. Let's get a timing. 170 days. That's the last of the capital ships we'll need to put together. It's the last Ontarios and Rhinos. We send the Marine Expeditionary Unit to Mercury, we link up with them, and then they bounce between the asteroid bases, clearing them out, stealing those sweet, sweet exotics, while the raiding group stays behind and tries to hold the Saturn system, or at least hold it long enough that we can plant bases on Titan and become an absolute pest underneath that heavy atmosphere. Our construction modules are just about done. So, yeah, this is starting to look really, really good. Where is our MEU? Yeah, MEU Titan. We could meet somewhere along the way, but I think that sending the fleet together reduces the risk. Yeah, we can spend 108 July. That works great. For like half our ditty. The advantage of traveling as a giant group is it reduces the risk that the aliens decide to intercept one fleet en route, meaning your Marines get ambushed without your capital ships there to defend them. We'll just do a nice hard burn on the way back to Mercury. But for the moment, at least this short moment, Saturn is free of Hydra. And I think in more ways than one, that's probably a good place to end the episode. The first human base in the Saturn system has been founded. The first transmission from the mission commander took well over an hour to reach Earth. The rings, they're even better in person. Amazing. So what that means is that our presence in Saturn, or specifically around Titan, is starting to entrench. To that end, Raider Group 1 has been renamed Battlefleet Titan. And new ships are being constructed in multiple shipyards to try and bulk them out, because their mission is now to hold rather than just to raid. I think I have an additional 10 ships of reinforcements being constructed. As soon as the other shipyards are powered up, we'll increase that to about 20. And then hopefully the aliens don't send enough in order to overwhelm us in the short term. In terms of bases, we are now digging ourselves into the surface of time. Bases Kane, Gaunt, Creed, Garrick, Pask, Corbeck, Marbo, Kesh, and Vicarious. We're going to go T1 first with construction modules and defense modules, basically entrenching ourselves as rapidly as possible first. Then we'll bulk them out to Tier 3 and make it to the point where even if we lose orbital superiority later, the aliens will have to bash their skulls against the atmosphere to try and dig us out, because they don't have the swarms of Spartan Marines that we have for those kind of missions. Our Marines are on the way to Mercury. All is well. the aliens seem to have acknowledged and responded to the fact that we are basically at the point of no return. We're now at total war. All those red indicators mean that we will now no longer burn off hate when they destroy our stuff. It's a fight to the finish. There's some ways around it if you get completely ruffle stomped, but as it is, this is them acknowledging that realistically at this point, it's us or them. They have to win the space fight. They'll be coming for us hard. They're compensating for the loss of Jupiter and the fact that we are now more than 10 years into the game, which on veteran means the aliens get the limit to the number of mines they can have active at one time increases significantly, I think by an extra 10. They are digging more and more bases into the Jovian subsystem, including settling Ganymede, which before was empty. Now they're mining it. Io is still being mined, and they've got 2 now on Callisto. So they're setting up additional mines all over the place to try and scale up. What are we going to be doing? Oh, we did do one extra nice thing, however. Just a reminder that while Humanity First is focused on the destruction of the Hydra, they do think there is more struggle, there's more purpose for humanity and the Earth well beyond it. So the Earth is worth saving from any threat to it, not just the Hydra. We've just finished researching clean energy, which means our sustainability maximum is now going to go up to 9.9. So we're going to be able to cut emissions down to basically nada, and we're working on climate change mitigation, which will boost this even more, give us access to more recapture technology, and also eliminate all oil regions, because at that point, we're in fantastic shape. The world now has access to clean civilian fusion power, and so hydrocarbons are going to become rapidly less important, which puts us in a pretty good place. It's also a nice economic boost as well. So my point basically is that while we're fighting hard, while we're digging in around Titan, while we're sending the Marines to Mercury and preparing for offensives into the belt, we haven't forgotten the cause of making sure Earth is in the best place it can possibly be. Hope you're all enjoying, and I'll see you next episode.